So back to this. So in the simulation for chapter 11, which is where we are right now, we have a lot going on here. So over here at the bottom, you can see the simulated taskbar right there, and then you have my actual Windows 1 right below it. All right. We have our Microsoft Word document open right here. All right, and if you notice, it's not going to be an exact match because this is probably slightly older, but if here is like an actual Word document. So, I mean, you can see Word, Home, New, Open, everything's right there. Not quite the exact same templates, but I have a blank document, welcome to Word, space, blue, yeah, see here, this is where I start to change, but these first few are the same. And then I have some recently opened documents on mine, which aren't up here, all right? But anyway, it's the exact same overall as actual Word, which is really quite nice. Now, over on the left right-hand side here, all right, is what you are going to be doing. All right, and that's what that whole blue window is. Now, for some of you, this may be across the bottom of your screen. So let me go ahead and there you go. For some of you, it may look like this, and that bar is across the bottom, and I like to call it, it's just taking up space. All right, it's down here at the bottom. It's just taking up space. And it makes it very hard to read and all the other fun stuff. And that is because of the resolution of your screen. All right, so if you're on a laptop, most likely this is what your screen will look like. If you're on a desktop, most likely that bar is going to be over here instead. If you're on a laptop, I highly suggest you zoom out of your web browser so that way you can see the bar on the right hand side. It just makes everything easier. Like, you can't see stuff over here below account right now, which might cause some problems at some point. So I highly suggest that you zoom out to get to an acceptable resolution where this bar goes to the side. To do that, at least in Chrome, you would right click on the taskbar at the very top and go zoom, and then you can do smaller. All right, and you can just zoom smaller and smaller and smaller until it moves over here to your side. For me, I'm going to go back to a 0% zoom, so back at 100% on my monitor. My monitor is a 1080p monitor, so I have plenty of resolution, which is why I don't have any issues. But I do like to point that out because that will probably cause some issues for you guys. Also, you'll notice now that we have all of my options here, I have account feedback and options. So again, moving this bar over here, it caused me to lose stuff below the account option. So I like to point that out. Anyway, let's go ahead and do the first step of this. So up here at the top, what stuff is bolded? This is what you're doing currently. Right below that, which I will go ahead and circle in green, that is what your next steps are. All right. So right now, I'm going to display a blank Microsoft Word document. The other important thing to notice right now is down here, it says attempts remaining 3. So for each of these questions, so you can see we have 1 through 29, I have 3 attempts to do everything up here in this white space. I'm horrible at drawing arrows with everything in this white space. So there's 2 different parts to this. You have 3 attempts between both parts. So not really a huge issue in the long run, or at least I hope it's not a huge issue. All right. But again, this software is very, 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 very picky about how you click on things and when you click on things and all the other fun stuff. So let me go ahead and give you guys a nice little example of how picky it is. So first, display a blank Microsoft Word document. You've been thinking, that's easy enough. I can do that. And you come over here to blank document, you double click. And if you noticed over here, it said incorrect action. So it's basically saying, hey, you didn't do it right. What's going on? And now, if you notice, my attempts remaining, they are 2 because I screwed up once. So, like, okay, this isn't how I don't double click on blank document to open one. All right. And you may go to actual Word. Let's go ahead and do that, bring that over here. And I double click. Worked just fine. You're like, what did I do wrong? All right. Well, what you did wrong in this case is you double clicked. All right. So to open a blank document, if you click once, you're fine. If you double click, you lose an attempt. So if I just click on this once, notice it took me in, no questions asked. You will also notice that now up here, we have a different section that has been bolded. All right. You'll also notice that we have blue. Everything in blue is what they want you to type out. All right. So I'd like to point that out. Also, you'll notice that there's this little funky symbol right here. All right, that is the little, that's formatting marks is what you're seeing. All right, and that is turned on by this little button right here. You may like to have that enabled for these assignments. I find that it helps out a lot because especially when you're comparing things, when you've submitted documents and you're like, what did I do wrong? And you hit spacebar 5 times, but the instructions told you to hit tab once. Both get you to the same point, but it's different formatting wise, and that is what it will mark you wrong for. It's like, you know, like, it did exactly what it wanted, but you didn't do it quite how it wanted. So it looks the same, and I've had the software take points off for that before. So I highly suggest that you guys turn formatting marks on just so you can see it. This used to be the first step in the simulation, but it's not anymore. So now it's telling me to type sharks, myth or fact. So again, I'm going to take SHARKS colon space MYTH or FACT, and I'm going to forget to put the question mark on there. And again, if I hit enter twice, notice I get an incorrect action again. It's because I missed the question mark. So you have to then put the question mark on, and then you can press enter twice, and it says question completed, and we're going to move on to the next actual question. All right. Some of these questions will have one assignment for you, like one step, which is what this one has. Some of them will have multiple. At least in the old trainings, I've seen when they had like 5 or 6 different steps to it before you can move on. So you had to be very careful about doing everything just so. All right. And again, this is where the book comes in, because the book will walk you through things how it wants you to do it. All right. So that is why the book is a great option. There have been things before where I've gone through these simulations and I'm like, okay, I need to do this. And my way would work completely perfectly. No problem, no issue. However, when they program this, they look at like the top 10 ways or something like that for how do you accomplish something in Word. And that's how they judge whether you've gotten it right or not. File. So if you look here, right, I have blank document there. I could also have done new blank document. That also should have been an acceptable answer. So there's 2 different ways to do it. If I just do Control N, nope, it doesn't work. But sometimes there's a third. You know, there's lots of different ways to do things. So they've tried to find like the most popular ways or the most expected ways for you to do something. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that is the way that you are going to do it, especially if you have bad habits of doing something the long way or a bad way, or, you know, things like that. So be very careful about following what the instructions actually tell you to do. So we can go through another step or two. So with the insertion point position at the end of the document, so if you notice, if you look very, very closely at this little blinking arrow right there, I go back to a mouse, and I click. That is how you can tell where you're blinking, where you're at in the document. So I want to make sure that's at the very end. We're going to insert text from the 1AI info file. So we're going to go to insert. I'm going to come over here to text. I think they want us to do from text from file. We'll select that. We'll say insert, and boom, we're good. All right. Some of these, here's one you can see. 4 or 5 different steps for this one. All right, and again, they're just walking you through. And the reason that we're doing this is this will help prep you for one of the standardized Microsoft Office exams, which is a really great a certification that you can get that will, you know, make you more applicable to a lot of different areas. So that's not a requirement from this class. We're not really going to go into it much more than that, but this is helping prep you for that exam, which is why we're doing these exam simulations instead of what we used to. So anyway, so it says select the text sharks, myth, or fact. So that's this first line right here. We're just going to highlight it. You could also, you know, click, hold shift, then hit over. Control normally jumps you a whole word at once. Not in this instance. All right, because this is simulated, they didn't program every absolute possible thing that you can do with right-clicking and keyboard shortcuts and everything like that. They have tried to cover you to the best of their capability. Notice this also even says to select the paragraph mark that follows it, which right now I do not have done. All right, hopefully your screen is big enough that you can see that, but I can zoom in. Oh, it's not going to let me zoom in. Really? I know it's not relevant. I want to zoom in, make everything bigger. But anyway, so select the whole thing, and then we're going to format the select text using the fill blue accent color. All right, so if you hover over stuff, a lot of times it will tell you, tell you some information. All right, notice this also does tell you specifically, which I find very helpful, what they have in parentheses, which is first row, the second effect. All right. Now, looking at this, you're probably going first row, second effect. That's not blue, so I probably don't have this selected right now. All right. So I think what they actually want is text effects and this one. All right. So again, kind of one of those things that you do need to make sure you clicked in the right place. If you hover over this, it will say text effects and typography. This doesn't say anything about that, but it says using the fill. So got to make sure that you're getting the right one. I don't think I had anything highlighted at that point. There we go. All right. If you do get something wrong, you're trying things, you're trying to get it right, and you're with title select, display the shadow effects and under perspective in the first row. So this is what they're saying is the title. They are expecting you to know certain things. Title, first address, signature block, those types of things. They are expecting you to know certain things about Word documents and general document formatting. So you do need to be kind of careful about that. So this says with the title, under shadow effects, so we're going to come back to this. We're going to go to shadow, and they want us to apply the third style. Apply the third, yeah. First row. So then let's apply this one. I'm going to select the wrong one. Oh no, I got it incorrect. I only have one attempt left. Let's see if I can get it right this time. Shadow. Hey, now I lost. So it says attempt succeeded, moving to next question. All right. So now they're like, hey, this is what it should have looked like. This is what we were asking you to do. It will grade that, I believe, on partial completion. So, I got one of the 5 steps right, so I'm going to get 1/5 of the credit for that, or however it's graded. But you should get partial credit. But you don't have an option to go back now. So if I go to move to previous question, it actually jumps me all the way to question 29 because I've already completed that. Anyway, so you guys are going to go through this whole thing. You're going to keep working on it. You're going to keep pushing your way through it, trying to do it the way they want you to do it. As I said, it to me is very, very annoying that you have to follow everything to a T. But with a simulation, they have to be able to program it some way. So they have to be able to say that we think this is how you're going to solve it. This is how we're going to program it as an acceptable solution. So anyway, yeah. And again, sometimes this gets really annoying. Position the insertion point to the left of the paragraph that begins statement : So, some shark species. Yeah, some shark species. Then you have to go find it, and they've had like 2 pages of stuff before, and I've easily skipped things before, so you need to be careful about that. But now we're gonna go ahead and do a picture. That was not the button I wanted. Picture. There's the picture we're gonna insert. Boom. Moving on to the next question. All right. So overall, they're just going to keep going through this. You have said 29 questions for this one, and some of them will have certain types, some of them won't. And overall, it's not that bad, especially when you're using your book to find the information. It should be rather well laid out for you in a very, step-by-step order. So like question 1 should become for question 2, and so after that. So definitely something that you want to be aware of. I highly do suggest that you just hover your mouse over things, because a lot of times it will tell you kind of what that means, or give you a little bit of information about this. Right now I'm hovering over the text wrapping and it says tight. I didn't know which one was tight, so if I just put my mouse over it, you can see this one says square, that one says tight, this one says through, so we're going tight with this one. So when you are all done, you'll go ahead and you'll go, okay, I finished. You'll hit your submit button. Hopefully you've actually answered all 29 questions. Go ahead and hit OK, and that's going to bump me back into my IT lab. On assignment calendar, you can load. All right, and if I go back to the 14th, you'll see I didn't pass. I can view my submissions, and I can click on them. So I can see I got a 14% on this. There is a training option in here. I highly, highly, highly suggest that you guys come through and actually do this training if you're having problems answering specific questions. So you can come and say launch training, and it says on the home tab in the paragraph group, click show hide. See, there's that first formatting mark, so they want you to do. Now they're going to tell you the type of internships available. Now the nice thing about the training is normally, and this time it's actually not going to do it because we don't have this set up as a required thing, but down at the very bottom, we have learning aids. Blue is a very bad color for this, Greg. There's this learning aids button. All right. So if we go to that, you can click on learning aids, and there are 3 different options. There are read instructions, there are watch video, and practice. All right. Personally, I like the read instructions or the practice. The read instructions, really not bad. I guess I have to agree to read the textbook probably. So, and overall, it's taking you to the textbook information. But again, they're showing you kind of step by step what's going on, where you should click. Notice they've got different arrows pointing places, so that's really nice. Where did that window go? There we go. If you go to practice, which is the one that, oh, you guys can't see. I'm sorry. I need to go to this one. Where's my main display? I don't have one without my camera on it. Sorry, there we go. Sorry about that. Now that you can see learning aids at the bottom, I really like the one that's practice. All right. Now this takes you to a whole little window, and it is going to talk to you. All right, and let me go ahead and unmute this so you guys can hear it.
At the insertion point, type internships available.
All right, so there you go. Now it's actually expecting you to do it. And now it
Press
tells you.
enter. Press enter.
All right, and it's like, hey, your practice is complete. Okay, now let's do it for real. All right, so they do make you go back and do it. But this learning area, you can try things as many times as you want. You can keep doing it. You know, there's those learning aids. It's a great area for you. However, they do not count towards your grade. Like completing this this training isn't going to count towards your actual grade. All right, you still will have to do that separately. So that is something I like to point out. It's not like, oh, I completed the training, I got my full score. No, you still need to do it yourself. So also, if you do your activity and you're like, okay, I did great through 1 through 18, I did crappy through 19 through 26, unluckily you can't just recomplete 19 through 29 or whatever. All right, you have to redo the whole thing. So I suggest that you take your time when doing this, have your book out, and make sure that you're going to get it right. All right, so that's kind of an introduction to those simulations. Do you guys have any questions? So, with no more questions, we're going to move on to the project. Now, the project and the exam, those are mostly exactly the same. All right, there's not a whole lot different about them. The skills you're doing with them might be a little bit different, but in general, the whole process is going to be the same. All right, so we've come in here to the project, Word 11 project fundraiser. All right, and we have 4 different steps. So we have download starting materials, and if we go ahead and hit download, you'll notice that there are 2 files that you can download. This, and that button. There we go. A little bit bigger for you guys. You'll notice that there are 2 files that we need. We have the instructions, and then we have the fundraiser _AS. All right. I think your name should be here instead of _student, because I'm the teacher. Mine says _student, but I think yours will have your last name there. Not positive on that, but I'm pretty sure. You can download them both individually, which is how I like to do it. All right, just click on download, and mine, as you can see, download on the bottom, or you can hit the download all files at once button. The reason I like to do them individually is because I don't feel like having to unzip the file. So if you download them all at once, you have to then, open up your favorite zipping software so you can then extract it and get it all, get it so you can actually access things. So I personally like just rocking the individual downloads. So here you can see, all in window. All right, you can see the actual document that you're going to be editing. And let me go ahead and open up the instruction. Let's move that down. Go. All right, so here you can actually see the actual instructions. Now, most likely your computer is going to be like mine, and it's going to have this enable editing button here. And this is because we are in protected view. Basically, it's saying, hey, you download this file from the internet. Are you sure you trust it? All right, is it safe? It could contain viruses. All right, so that's why they put you in protected view, to help keep you from getting viruses on your computer. Unluckily, basically, if you want to complete this class, you don't have any option but to say enable editing. So that's what you're kind of going to have to just do. All right, so I highly, you're going to have to enable editing. both and at least not maybe not in the instructions, but at least you're going to have to enable editing in the actual assignment itself. Anyway, the instructions, again, pretty straightforward. So it says open the Word document and download with this project. Notice how it says points zeros. So it does give you how many points each step is worth. Insert the file name in the footer. 6 points. Change line spacing for the entire document to 1.5. 10. So it walks you through all the different points and things like that. All right. Um, Notice how it puts things in blue that it's expecting you to type. All right, which is better than what it used to be. I think they used to do quotes or something like that, but I like the blue. All right. I also highly suggest that you guys, if you're like me and you have issues like typing everything perfectly, you can copy and paste from this document. So you can highlight it all. Like, okay, I need these three. You can highlight them. Say copy. And then when you paste it, though, if I just paste it normally, Control V, notice it's still blue. All right. You're going to lose points if it's still blue. All right. You want it to match the document. So you're going to right click. You're going to say paste options, which you guys probably can't see right now. I click all the way at the bottom. So we have 4 different paste options. We have keep source formatting. We have merge formatting. We have picture. And then we have keep text only. So you're either going to want merge formatting or keep text only. Probably the keep text only is what you want, and then match the formatting of the actual document. But that is something that you do want to be careful about. All right. So we have to do all of this stuff very specifically, remember. So let me go ahead and go back to this. Now, for those who don't know, I love this view. This works on basically any Windows computer. This is called snapping, where I have 2 different documents open on the same screen. You can do that, and it's nice to see this. If you drag something to the edge of your screen, you're going to see this like ghost window appear right in the middle. You can kind of see it. It changes color of the right half of my screen slightly. So it's like, hey, this is where we're going to maximize to. If you go to the top corner, it only gets the top quarter. Bottom quarter. If you go to kind of the middle, it does the middle. It does the whole side. And once I let go of this one, it's going to go, hey, what other window do you want to open? And I can go, this one. And you can just kind of click it. And it will then snap 2 windows to one to each side of your screen. But it's a very useful thing to do, especially when you're working on a single monitor with multiple documents, or multiple programs, I should say. So I highly suggest you snap things, or print out the instructions. And printing out is actually almost the better option here, because then you can kind of cross things off as you go through this. So let me go ahead and bring this back up. So it wants me to insert the file name in the footer. Now, this doesn't care how you do it, as long as you get it finished how it is expecting you to be finished. All right. So we could do insert, and then we could find header footer, and then we click on that, and then we could say, here are some different options. We could just go down to edit footer, and then we want to put document info, and we could do file name. Boom, done. All right. That is an acceptable way to do it. You could also have just double clicked in the footer area and then done the same document info, file name. And that would have been an acceptable way to do it. All right. This does not track how you complete things in the projects and the exam. All it tracks is your final document and did you get it right? Yes.
When I do essays and try to mess with the headers, I always struggle with that. Like putting my name or something on the right hand corner of the page, each page. It's a little wacky for me every time. Can you explain how to mess with that?
Yes, I can. All right. So, if you're looking in your header, if we double click up here, you'll actually notice, and again, they're kind of hard to see, but right here in the middle, there's a little notch. Right there, there's a little notch. There's not one on this side because it defaults to the left, right? However, let me go ahead and just pull those out of the way so we can see them a little bit better. Oop, no, go back. All right, so now you can see the one that is right there. Especially it would help if I could circle. All right. I forget what these are specifically called right off the top of my head. If I double click on one, it'll probably tell me. Tabs. So this is the tab stop position. All right. So as you can see, there are different ones. We have a left alignment, center alignment, right alignment. We have a decimal, and we have a bar. All right. The left, center, and right are probably the ones that you'll use most. And these aren't specific to just the header. You can use these in the Word document as well. But anyway, those tab markers basically, so this one in the center, when I hit tab once, normally when you hit tab, right, it moves over half an inch. Well, in this case, since we have that little tab marker, when I hit it once, it jumps to that next tab stop position. And anything I type here will be centered on this one because it's the upside down T. So if I type stuff out, you'll notice I stay perfectly centered on the page. If I hit tab again, I'll move this over for good measure here. All right, it's going to move me over to this right tab stop position, and everything will align to the right edge. So, everything I'm typing, but it's going to the left. If I hit tab again right now, it's actually going to take me to 6 because that's the next half-inch marker, and tab again takes me to the end. But if you have this, normally you'd have this all the way over here at the edge of your paper, and that's how you can kind of get your name, everything, in those 3 different categories here. So you can see how it's very easy to type in those 3 different ones. If we went back to insert and we did a header, you have this blank 3-column option that you could click on, which then obviously puts text in each spot for you to be able to type on very easily. That's probably how I would actually normally do this, especially if I was trying to do all 3. But now you could put your name here, you could put your homework here, whatever it is, and then this one you could put the date or whatever it is that you actually care about. So kind of easy enough to do that with the header. And again, you can do the same thing with the footer. You could, when I did this insert and I did footer, now it gave me this option for blank, 3 columns, Austin. This is the simple footer with a page border. This is banded, so the numbers are centered. So, it tells you all those things. You can find more templates if you want them. But in our case, we just want to make sure that document is actually in the file path. And again, it will tell you that, or the book will walk you through how to actually get that file and name information into this, or it should. That answer your question? Okay. How do you get the page number? Yep, it's easy enough. So, again, if we come back into our header footer, so whether you double click on it or do that insert edit header footer, under document info is, I thought that's where it was. Oh, here it is. Here's page number. It's its own little category. So we have top of page, bottom of page, page margins, current position. So you can kind of insert it wherever you want. So like that current position one, if you wanted it in the middle, you could put a page number there. And that will stay updated as we do more pages. So if I do Control Enter, you'll notice, bam, it automatically jumped up to 2 all by itself without me even doing anything. So very convenient. Yep. All right. So we've put that in the footer. Let me go ahead and delete this since we're not supposed to be messing with it. Delete everything extra in this document that I can. So we've opened it, we've done the footer and the name tag. Let's go ahead and change line spacing of the entire document. So for me, entire document, Control A, that is select all. All right. And again, you could right click and we could do paragraph, and then down here is a line spacing. So we could do 1.5. You could also, up here is line spacing as well. This little button right there under the paragraph settings, 1.5. You could click here to get that paragraph window open instead of right clicking. Again, there's like 12 different ways to do things, which is both wonderful and absolutely horrifying at this point. All right. Oftentimes you'll also, if you highlight stuff, it will tell you keyboard shortcuts if they exist, which is again nice but kind of annoying because it's like, oh, here's how you do it. Anyway, we've changed the line spacing for the entire things. They want this top piece centered, so that's easy enough to do. And then change the font size to 24. I'm just burning through these. I'm not expecting you guys to be like following along perfectly with me right now, but I just want to change some stuff so you guys can kind of see how it's going to get marked up. For this one, it says locate the paragraph that begins with Light Magic Studios can provide. All right, right there. After the colon, and then we're going to press enter. So we're jumping to question 9 right, or part 9 right here. It says remove the first line indent from the new paragraph, which doesn't exist, so I don't know why we're doing that. And it says it wants me to create a numbered list. So again, I'm going to highlight these. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to click on the numbered list option under paragraph. And again, I'm going to right click. I'm going to say paste, keep text only. All right. And again, in theory, I should be good. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now let's pretend that I have completed everything. I have done all I needed. Step 2, if you click on preview steps, we're going to go back a little bit. It just shows you the instructions, which are in that one Word document. So in theory, you don't actually need to download that Word document, but I highly suggest it. even if you're done asking questions, put your hand down for me just in case you have another one. I know when it's different. Um, yeah. So instructions, you don't actually need to kind of do this step if you're downloading it. Upload completed assignment. This one bothers me, but it's how it works. So first you have to choose your file. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the file. Then you have to actually click upload. If you don't click upload, you're not submitting your file. Notice how it's kind of green here, and if let me go ahead and do we'll submit this one. We'll do another one in a minute. All right, and it says your file has been submitted for grading. Great. We can go ahead and close. Now, right now, it already says not passed. Boom. That is how quick this stuff gets graded. Now, this may be just the time of day that nothing's getting graded right now, so it's not really an issue, but it is something I want you guys to be aware of. So this one did grade instantaneously. If it didn't, it's normally done within 30 seconds to a minute. So just something to be aware of. I don't remember what it says if it wasn't completely, if it's not ready. It may still say in progress or grading or something like that. But anyway, now if you click these 3 dots right here next to the project, all right, we can go to view submissions. And then again, we're going to have to click on our actual project. So again, I got 38% on this. And here it gives you your scorecard. So it says like, hey, you did a really good job with 1, 2, 3, and 4. Not so good with 5, 6, 7, or 8. I got 9 right. I didn't do 10, 11, 12, or 13. All right. So it's like, hey, yes, kind of did an all right job, not a great job. I mean, 38% is pretty poor in my opinion, but you got a score. All right. Now, you have a few options. This, in theory, tells you which parts you have to go back to and look at again. All right. However, I really like this live comments report for you guys. So if you go ahead and click on that, it will download a Microsoft Word file for you that you can upload. And now let me go ahead. Let's do a little zoomy zoom in here action. Ooh, there we go. So here you can see my submission markup. All right, and it does tell me point deduction. All right, so it's saying, hey, you lost points for 6 points deducted in instruction number 5 for not having my margin set right. All right, and it says the margin was not set to 1/2 inch. Okay, 8, smart art was not inserted or set to the proper size. 11, so it is walking me through all the things I lost points for. Now, oftentimes, and this is what I really like, says 30 points deducted due to incorrect actions which have been commented below. And notice it says in place right there. That is the really important part here that I like about this. So I can scroll down and notice it actually highlights. It says Light Magic Studio. And if you come read the comments on the side, now if your comments aren't showing, enable editing, review comments. No, I can't turn them off. That's okay. But anyway, if you come to review, there's a comment section where you can turn things on, those types of things. But anyway, we come down to these. It tells me, I click on this, it says that jumped off the screen. Just that, cool. There we go. So it says comment. The white in the whole document, the spacing after was not set to 6, and the whole document spacing before was not set to 6. So it tells you, hey, you screwed up on this specific line at this specific spot. Here's what you didn't do. Fix it. So it tells you all of that, like highlighting everything. So it's like, oh, hey, I have some project errors on this. What did I do there? Oh, the whole document thing. So it's taking off a lot of points for a lot of things. But anyway, it shows you with comments pointing to lines where things that you did wrong are. This one has a whole lot going on with it. All right, so again, nice, really nice way to look at things. So that live comments report is really very, very handy. You also can download your submitted file. So like if you were working on this at home and you forgot to, and then you went to school and you uploaded it, and you're like, I have half an hour to fix something. Let me go ahead and fix that document. And then you forgot to bring it with you. You can download that file that you submitted. However, now that I know I got these things wrong, we can go back and fix them. Because remember, you get, I think it's 3 attempts at this. So I'm going to go back to my Word document, move this to the side here, refresh this page so it hopefully resizes that window nicely. And it's not, it's going to take me to the assignment calendar. So I have to go ahead and click on it and open stuff back up again. Oh no, you only get two attempts at the projects. My bad. Thought it was 3. Only 2 attempts. But anyway, I can get bigger. All right. Anyway, do I have that live comments open still? I do. I like this better. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. There we go. So 5. I didn't do step 5. So then you could come down and you could find step 5. Or that was step 5 there. Yeah, it's up here. Change the top and bottom margins to 1/2 inch. So I could go, okay, let me go ahead and fix that. So it's under layout, margins, we're gonna do custom. They said top and bottom, so 1/2 inch. I can go ahead and hit okay. Boom, there, step 5 done. Select the 3 paragraphs below the picture and apply a first line indent. So paragraph 1, 2, I'm gonna assume that's what they're saying by 3. First line indent. Boom, done. All right. So you can go back through and you can fix these things. So we did 5. We did 6. We're on to 7. Change the entire document and then change the spacing before to 6 point and after to 6 point. So select the entire. So select the entire document. Go back into that paragraph thing. Actually, it's right here under layout, which is nice. So they want a 6 point there and they want a 6 point there as well. So they let you go back and they tell you like, hey, here's what you screwed up. You can come in here and you can fix it. All right. And then you can go, okay, I have fixed everything. You know, I've looked at my scorecard. I fixed all the things that they told me to fix, which is good. So now you can go back to your assignment and you can resubmit it. Now remember, you only get 2 attempts at this, not 3. I thought it was 3. It's only 2. Simulation is 3. Project is 2. Exam will be 1. We can go ahead and we can re-upload this now. Notice it won't let me click submit for grading because I never clicked the upload button. So you have to make sure you select your file, then hit the upload button. Now I can submit for grading. Boom. See, right now, here's what it says if it hasn't graded it yet. It just says submitted. All right. So this time it wasn't able to grade it right before the whole page refreshed. So all I have to do again is click on the 3 dots and say view submissions. And by now it will have been graded. And look, now I'm up to a 55.5. All right. So attempt 1. Do your best. Tweak things how you think they need to be tweaked. Get everything as close as you can to perfect. Even if you only get a 70, like, oh, I gotta see. Well, then you can just look at your scorecard, download that live comments report, fix everything again, and hopefully you fix it all close enough that you're now at an A. All right. There's really no great reason why you guys shouldn't be able to pass these projects. All right. That's what it comes down to. With between having 2 submissions on them and the book and all that information, you guys should be able to complete. You should very easily be able to pass these assignments. Now, the last assignment, as I said, is an exam, as they call it. If you notice, it's going to pop up that little warning about. Oh, it didn't pop up the warning. You have 2 attempts with this too? I'll be interested to find that out. I have to go look at it. But anyway, if we look at our download materials, this one has 4 different things that we have to do. We have the instructions, we have the file we're modifying, and then we probably have some text we're inputting from a document, and then here's a picture that we're going to input. So you have 4 things to download. Again, you could do the download all button if you would like, but it doesn't really matter. Make sure when you're doing this that you do select the right assignment. All right. How do you know what the right assignment that you should be selecting is? Up here at the top, it tells you. Word 11, exam, sports photography. So right there is where it tells you which file you should be picking. All right. Now I purposely picked the last exam because I didn't download this one yet, or the project. So I'm going to go ahead and upload that. It doesn't care that I've uploaded the wrong one. Right. I'm going to submit this for grading. It doesn't give a darn. All right. It will grade it as it sits. And if we go ahead and look at this, I got a 3%. Something must have been right. All right. But make sure that you do select the right file. All right. This again. Yep, you get 2 attempts on the exams as well. So just make sure you're selecting the right file for this. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten email from students saying, "Hey, I uploaded the wrong file." A few days late, especially if they do this to me like on Friday night or something, it's like, okay, I'll fix it on Monday or whatever the case is. Just pick the right file from the get-go is all I'm really saying at this. All right. But otherwise, your project and your exams, basically exactly the same thing. It is just another project for you to attempt. The exams used to only have one attempt on them. The projects used to have multiple. That was one of the differences. At this point, it doesn't seem like there's a huge difference between them other than probably the content that is being covered. So it's actually... I want to go look at how many instructions are in this one. Yeah, this one has 20 steps to it. I don't know what the last one had. Document. This one only had 14, so you're doing a bit more in this one than you were in the other one. So just something that I wanted to point out to you guys. All right, any questions for me? I will take that as none at this point specifically. All right, guys, these are going to take you some time. All right. 29 steps in the simulation. If there's a 1 minute per step, that's 30 minutes right there. All right. The exam and the project, again, if you're going to end up doing it 2 times because you're going to do it once, submit it, find what you did wrong, fix it, and submit it again, that's going to take some time. All right. I highly, highly, highly suggest that you guys take the time to actually read through these things carefully. Take your time with the book doing the simulation because it's going to just mark you wrong otherwise. But take your time, go through them, be patient, and when you aren't happy with your grade, do it again. All right? At least do it 2 times. Again, there's no reason for you guys not to do it times. You have the capability. The points are available for you. Just do it a second time and get it, be happy with your score is what it comes down to. All right. Questions for me? Comments, concerns, issues, statements? Nothing at this point. All right, so that's my introduction to Chapter 11, to the simulation, the project, and the exam.